Our Industrial Revolution today, guys, with the impact of the Industrial Revolution. So on your notes, you need to look at the image and analyze it. And then the notes from class, the words are, again, underlined for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So our essential question, or the question we're going to answer is, what is the impact of the Industrial Revolution? So the Industrial Revolution increased production, lowered the cost of goods, and led to new technologies. It had negative impacts as well. So we're going to look at the first picture, which brings in the elevator, the positive impacts and inventions. The World's Fair in 1853 showcased a lot of the new technology. For example, the elevator that happened because of the development. They saw new iron purifying methods. So again, technology that helps make things stronger. The first quadricycle, machine gun not included, sorry. But basically, showing things that you can produce with technology. So we're going to look at we saw changes in how business was done. On the way out, we know the domestic system or the cottage industry was where things were made at home was on their way out. We also know that on the rise, the factory system was mass produced by machines. So we're going to take a couple looks at working conditions. Again, your working conditions, you can see all the fuzz on the ground. He's holding a piece of string. You got the fuzz on the ground. You can easily get things caught in here. So again, a lot of dangers. So factory system, major change. They became less skilled, dangerous conditions, long hours, 12 to 16 hours per day. Factory workers were not paid well. Women and children were paid less than men. And that's a huge, huge issue. Factory workers were required to clock in, and they were limited to their breaks. So again, just looking at a couple pictures of the dangers that are there. The crowded, you can see the crowd of this. So again, the pollution. This is a picture we've seen before. So when working in a place like this, accidents like this could happen. I know it's not the best picture, but your fingers could get, people got mutilated. Ooh, I did not mean to click on that. I did it again. So that's a possibility. Okay, conditions in the coal mines, again, that's a possibility. So with the invention of the steam engine, coal production went from 5 million tons to 23
million tons. All right, the time is now 1 o'clock. We're going to give everybody just about another 45 seconds to try and log in.
Men, women, and children were used in mine labors. Mines were unhealthy and dangerous places. Lung disease, poison gas, drowning, explosions, cave-ins were common for a lot of these workers. That's why, like today, after the start of it, is why we're so concerned with when cave-ins happen, because with new technology, it should not happen. Okay, so again, your coal production. Oh, didn't want to click on that. Okay, so again, looking at the pieces that come out, notice he's got a shovel or a stick in his hand. Again, the children that are working there. Okay, so looking at William Cooper's day, this is just some of the stuff we've talked about with children working and who's doing what and that type of thing. So the Industrial Revolution changed the lives of many children. Rather than working for their parents on farms, many were in factories, bricklayers, or mines. It was expensive, so poor families needed their children to work. Children earned 10% of what an adult wage would be, and they were often beaten into submission. Okay, again, that picture is common. We've seen this picture before. Shining shoes just to get extra dollars. Selling papers, your newsies. We've seen this picture before. So changing role of women. Many then, rather than working for their husbands on farms, taking care of children, they worked in factories. Some worked as domestic servants or what we know today as maids. Factory jobs for women encouraged long hours, leaving women crippled, sick, or deformed. Women were paid half to a third of a man's salary. So again, sewing, domestic servant. You've seen this picture before. Okay, children working, cleaning. Okay. So urbanization increased dramatically. The increase of population and closure of farms for people to move to the city. Poor families lived in badly constructed apartments called tenements, neighborhoods called slums. Many families were cramped, no lack of running water or sanitation. This increased diseases to short life expectancy for these workers. Okay, so we've seen this picture before. There's a different cramped view. Okay, again, pollution, cramped, not the best housing. This is an example of a tenement building. A lot of them were a lot smaller. So in one of these apartments, you may have 3 or 4 families in there with 5 to 8 people in a family. So again, does this look sanitary to you? Okay, we've seen this picture before. So changing class structure, as class structures start to change, you have the lower class holding up the upper class, and they're trying to break through that what we call now today's glass ceiling. So during the revolution, things changed. Industrial capitalists gained wealth by owning factories. Middle class grew because they were engineers, managers, and shopkeepers. And the bottom class grew because the number of urban poor who worked for low wages in factories. So again, just another example of it. People responded to change and abuses in this revolution. They demanded reforms to fix those problems of the Industrial Revolution. So labor unions. Britain and the U.S. passed child and women labor laws that limited hours and type of work they could perform. Reformers regulated water, food, sewage so they could offer public education, working conditions. Again, the political revolution. All right, so workers formed unions to demand better wages. And when they didn't meet those demands, they went on strike. If they refused to strike, the demands, again, they went on strike and refused to work. So again, we're going to review capitalism, socialism, and communism. So people responded to change and abuse in the Industrial Revolution. This was based on capitalism. So capitalism, how people own, who owns it, this, you can read the chart and understand it. We are most familiar with capitalism. That's based on, we know this is based on supply and demand. Adam Smith, operated the free market based on economy and profits. Governments applied that laissez-faire, hands-off approach. They didn't want to do interference. Some believe this was the reason why the gap between the rich and poor went. They rejected capitalism in favor of socialism. Oops, sorry, I didn't give you enough time for that. All right, socialism believes government should play a role in controlling factories, farms, railroads, mines, and industry. This would create the equality and poverty, redistributing wealth from capitalists to the poor workers. So everybody would kind of be equal, kind of distributing things where they're needed. Okay, so there's a side-by-side view. And then, so your type of governments, so your economic systems are in, capitalism kind of falls in the middle with where the government controls. And then Karl Marx introduced a radical form of socialism called communism. So communism, predicts a war between the haves and the have-nots. So just who has it and who doesn't. So Marx encouraged workers to overthrow owners, seize the control of factories, everybody again distributed evenly, and basically that economic equality for all. And we're done. So what you guys are going to do is you are going to make a word cloud, and if you did your T-chart from Tuesday, I got to fix that because that's spelled wrong. Go ahead and fix that before I forget. There we go. You're going to create it. You can create a new one. You're going to hit the word cloud document. That word cloud document, let me go ahead and save that. Word cloud document looks like this. So you can use any of these 3 links on there, and they do work to create that Word document with your 10 positive, 10 negatives. And then you're going to just instead of printing it out, you're going to screenshot it. I think I took away those instructions that said print it out. You're going to screenshot it and submit it that way. Don't forget, you do have a quiz tomorrow on the unit wrap-up. Thanks.